Hello, TikTok world. Today we're looking at next Sunday, the second Sunday of Easter, from John chapter 20. And this portion here, after 8 days, his disciples inside again, and Thomas was with them. The doors were locked. And Jesus came and stood among them. Peace be with you. He said to Thomas, then, put your finger here and look at my hands, and take your hand and put it in my side. And do not continue to doubt, but believe. And Thomas answered him, my Lord and my God. And Jesus said to him, because you have seen me, you believed? Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed. Well, here is one of the clearest statements in the Gospels that Jesus is God, right? Thomas exclaims to him, my Lord and my God. Jesus doesn't correct him because he is. Because the question could be, is Lord there, is it Adonai, which is the term for God in the Old Testament, which means Lord in the plural? Or is it Yahweh that he's speaking about there, which, Kyrie in the Greek oftentimes translates or substitutes for Yahweh in the Old Testament. Either way, whether it's Yahweh or Adonai, that's the God of the Old Testament. And of course, following that up with my God, right, pretty much seals the deal. So Thomas, upon seeing this, the eighth sign, right, we oftentimes talk about 7 signs Jesus performs in John's Gospel. Well, the resurrection is the eighth, right? He's risen from the dead, and he's like one of us, right? When Jesus is raised from the dead, he's not a spirit. Right, his body may be spiritual, but he says, hey, come here. Stick your finger in my hand and see it's me, right? Put your hand in my side. See it's me. I'm not a ghost. I'm flesh and bone, right? Later on, he'll say, give me some fish so you see it doesn't just pop out of me, right? And so blessed are we then, you and I. Thomas saw and believed. And of course, well, he was, as an apostle, he was to be a witness to the resurrection, so he had to see Jesus. But you and I, we don't see Jesus, not till the last day, or at least till we die, right? But we believe. We are more blessed because we have heard and believed and not seen and believed. He is risen. He's risen indeed. Hallelujah.